Hi everybody, my name is Justin Stoney and I'm the founder of New York Vocal Coaching here in New York City. Welcome to episode 84 of Voice Lessons to the World, the show where we want to help you as singers by answering your questions from all over, and I'll give you a chance to ask questions later. But our question for this week comes from Gabriel C. in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and Gabriel writes, "Dear Justin, what is vocal embouchure?" Now that question is great, Gabriel, because vocal embouchure is the kind of thing we need to stare in the face and ask ourselves, what are all these crazy faces that singers are always making? And how does that affect their sound? That's what we're going to talk about today. But first, let's answer the question, what is vocal embouchure? Embouchure comes from the French word bouche, which means your mouth. So embouchure, that's going to be the shape of your mouth. Now usually we think of embouchure as it applies to musical instruments. If I play a flute, I've got to have a kind of embouchure. If I play a brass instrument, I got to have a kind of embouchure. But our voice is really a musical instrument too. So how we shape the bouche, how we shape the mouth is going to affect the instrument. Every instrument needs a power source, a vibratory source, and a resonance source. With our voices, the breath is the power. The vocal cords are the vibration, and then the head is the resonance. And all the different mouth shapes that we can do as singers are going to affect that resonance and that sound so much. So I know what you're thinking, Justin, you got to fermer la bouche, shut your bouche, and tell us about the bouches that are going to make us better singers. Okay, well, bouche number one, neutrality. Now, I promise I'm not holding out on you, but really, before we can make all the crazy bouches, we've got to be able to sing our entire range with neutrality, right? I want to be able to sing all the way up and down without making any drastic changes to the embouchure. Once that technique is in place, then the embouchure is going to have a lot of stylistic and resonance effects, but neutrality is always going to be king. That being said, okay, so now, bouche number two, the smile. Sometimes we're in a voice lesson and we think, why is my voice teacher telling me to stay so neutral? What if I need to smile? Well, of course you can smile, but we want that smile to happen naturally. If you're choosing to smile for the sound, we need to know this is going to raise the F1 and F2 formants for all you formant fans out there. Now, what that means is it's going to increase the strength and the brightness. And the problem with this, we talked about this in the episode on spreading, is that if you're getting your strength and your brightness from the front, you're not getting your strength and brightness from within. And that's where we really need it to be first. Once you've got that technique down, you can color the sound all you want with the strength and brightness of the embouchure. And we use this in a lot of different styles, but rock is definitely a style that we use it. So check out I'm Alive from Next to Normal. I'm alive, I'm so alive, and I'll tell you the truth if you let me try. Now, if I try to do that with a neutral embouchure, I'm alive, it's going to be really tough to do. So, we want to get some of that brightness and strength from the embouchure, can make your life easier. Now, the next bouche that we've got is really a real bouche. This is the pucker. Puckering is not just for kissing anymore. It's also for lowering F1 and F2 formants. Now, what does that mean? That means darkening the voice and also giving it more give and flexibility. There's also vowels that require some of that rounding, like the round O vowel, we talked about that in an episode. Or the U vowel, a high note's best friend, we talked about that in an episode. Those round shapes and puckered shapes give the voice more of that flexibility. Now, classical singers use that rounding more so than other singers, but again, all of these embouchures can be used for virtually any style. But let's check out Lonely House from the opera Street Scene. Lonely house, lonely me, funny with so many neighbors, how lonely it can be. Now, you hear that helps get a rounder, richer, deeper tone to the voice. We certainly wouldn't want to do lonely house, lonely me. Would kind of lose the effect. But we're seeing that rounding has a lot to do with what we're doing from the bouche. Now, the next bouche is going to be the snarl. You think that the snarl would be an angry or kind of aggressive sound, but actually it causes lighter qualities to the voice by raising F3, bringing nasal resonance to the sound. Now, you still got to drop your soft palate to a certain extent, but this gesture encourages that. Don't get it confused with the smile. It's the snarl. And this is going to cause lighter and more radio-friendly sounds for pop and R&B, things like that. So let's check in with our good old friend Michael, God rest his soul, with You Are Not Alone. You are not alone, I am here with you. Though we're far away, you always hear me say that you are not alone. And it brings it into a spot that helps you to sing in a sweeter and lighter voice. Now we're going to check in with a crazy bouche. This is going to be belt face. Belt face is kind of frightening because it looks like you're about to bite somebody. However, it's one of the coolest embouchures because we've got the open mouth. That brings up the strength, the wideness. That brings up the strength and the brightness. And then the forward tongue, that brings up the brightness as well. Now, we talked about all this in the belt trilogy. And we really don't want to do this until we're way up in the stratosphere in our range. Because if you do this too early in the voice, you tire out your belt and you don't become that great of a belter. But for the stratospheric stuff, way, way up there, this becomes very necessary. Let's look at one of the best at it, which is Jessie J. How about the song Mama Knows Best? The storm in the sky, oh! You see that opening the top like that just encourages that brightness and strength. It's actually not all that much pressure, but the resonance is taking over up there in the stratosphere, taking the pressure off the voice, making the sky-high belting easier to do. So that's been a lot of bouches, a lot of embouchures. Let's take a recap of vocal embouchure. I suppose our last embouchure of the day is a pout. Because sadly, I'm not going to give you a vocal exercise like I usually do. And the reason why is you can tell that vocal embouchure is too vast of a subject to cover in one vocal exercise, let alone one episode of the show. But what I want you to know is that in your technique, go for that neutrality. You don't have to be making any crazy shapes in order to hit the notes. You should be able to keep your embouchure the same across your range. That being said, for your style, now you know the full range of embouchure. Opening increases the strength. Closing decreases the strength. Widening increases the strength and brightness. Narrowing decreases the strength, increases the darkness, and that snarl encourages nasal resonance. So work with that neutrality in your technique and then work with all these embouchures in your style, and Gabriel and all, I hope and trust that that takes everything to the next level for you. So if you've got questions that you'd like to see us answer on the show, you can send an email to questions@voicelessonstotheworld.com. So I encourage you, don't lose that joy, don't lose that passion. Don't let people tell you you can't sing. You and I both know it's not true. Get with a great voice teacher near you, or if you'd like to Skype with one of our staff, or you happen to be in the New York City area, check us out at newyorkvocalcoaching.com. If you'd like a vocal course that you can do in the comfort of your own home, you might be interested in the Voice Lessons to the World vocal course, a 12-part course that takes you on a journey from beginner to master level vocal exercises. You can find that at voicelessonstotheworld.com. And if you'd like free daily vocal tips sent to you every day, sign up at dailyvocaltips.com. I'm Justin Stoney. Until next time, make a joyful noise. Fermez la bouche et fidez le cat. But our question for this week comes from Daquan R. in Toronto, Canada. And Daquan writes, Dear Justin, I love your videos, but I wish you'd release a vocal course that I can do at home. Is there something like this in the works? Busters series, and this question is from Matt M. in Birmingham, UK. Matt writes, Dear Justin, I've been told I should sing from my diaphragm and not from my throat. How do I sing from my diaphragm and also